Last night, we took you inside two of the historic buildings on the old St. Elizabeth's campus in Southeast D.C. Part of our tour included the infamous Blackburn Laboratory. That is where some of the earliest lobotomy techniques were developed. And tonight, News 4's Mark Seagrave shows us what will happen to those abandoned buildings as the sprawling campus undergoes redevelopment.
The 184-acre campus east of the river is bigger than the RFK campus site, but doesn't get near the public attention. Redevelopment has been underway for years, with Care First Arena serving as the anchor. Now, one by one, these beautiful brick buildings are being rehabilitated and repurposed.
It is a massive undertaking, especially of buildings that were constructed in the late 1800s.
Latrina Owens is overseeing the entire project for the D.C. government.
This project is on the National Register. It was put there in 1990, so we are doing our best to preserve and integrate what's old and new together for this community.
Sarah Levitt is a historian who wrote this book, Architecture of an Asylum, about the St. E's campus. Levitt believes the way this campus was built more than 100 years ago speaks to how important the government thought having a place to treat mental illness was back then.
This architecture still kind of looks grand. You can see the windows are giant. The roof, look at the way that the pediment of the roof sits. They were really trying to do something here with the architecture and say, like, we find this important. Anytime you see architecture like this, you know somebody thought it was important to have a look, a feel for this campus that would be beneficial to the folks that worked and lived here.
Brian Burke took us inside Building P, one of the structures his firm is repurposing.
Our firm does a number of historic renovations, but these are by far the coolest buildings that we've been able to work on. Just the history here and the enormity of these really impressive historic buildings is just a lot of fun to work with. It's there's a lot to it. A lot goes into restoring these back to their original brilliance, but it's a really fun challenge.
Burke points out this type of construction and architecture would be way too expensive to do today. But now, these buildings that have been abandoned for years are being returned to the community.
So these two buildings are going to be programmed for nonprofit uses mainly. There will be some community serving spaces, a community center, there'll be workforce development areas, youth services and childcare, and then there'll be some arts uses.
The most infamous building on the campus is the Blackburn Laboratory, where we took you inside, the still intact operating room. Brian Butler's firm is restoring Blackburn.
When you're walking around some of the building and you're really seeing the history that was made here for the research that was done in this building, and just having the opportunity, just picking up, and we looked at some stuff today as you pick things up off the ground, really what was involved in happening with all of those artifacts affected within the building. It's truly gives you the chills.
The renovation of the Blackburn building is going to be historic in a new way. It's actually being lifted up and moved closer to the road.
The building itself is going to be one of the largest moves of anywhere in the country of moving a historical building like this. So hugely opportunity and difficulties at the same time. We have to effectively go underneath the building, jack it into the air, and then slowly, almost like rail tracks, move the building over onto new foundations. The difficulty here is that the new foundations, we'll have to be pouring them as the building are in the air, because the new foundations is going to go underneath the existing footprint. So really complex structural challenges ahead.
It's unclear whether the operating room will be preserved. From the historic St. Elizabeth's campus, Mark Seagraves, News 4.